Hey, it's Sam, and I'm speaking today about the sun in Taurus. So when the sun is in Taurus, it's in a place of connection, earthiness, practicality. The sun is that light within, that solar power, that vision that we bring into life. Without the light, we can't see where we're going. Very simple, but important principle. The sun gives us the light, and the light allows us to see. And once we see, we move, and we know where we're going. When it's dark, we don't move. We don't go anywhere external because we can't see our way in the dark. Look at how much of our life has been, changed by bringing light, 24-hour light. Now we have light all the time. Since the advent of electricity and candles and fire, we can have light all the time. So the light is what the sun is about. And wherever the sun goes, it illuminates that area of life. So when the sun is in Taurus, it's illuminating that principle. It's trying to light up and show us how much connection, how much structure, stability, enjoyment, pleasure, and ultimately how much contentment we have. Big word for Taurus is contentment. In yoga it's called santosha. Santosha means contentment and decline. And it shows that we're happy with what we have rather than just looking to satisfy our desires. There's a lot of confusion about this these days, especially in the yoga world and in the conscious world, the world of meditation and consciousness, where because there's a quality of yoga, let's say, and of spiritual practice that can move into suppression very easily and repression and rejection of our desires, we go the other way and say, well, but we're here to satisfy our desires, satisfy our karmas. Aren't we here to, satisfy the desire to finish the karma? It's very tricky. It's a very tricky thing. And this quality of santosha, or fulfillment, is very important to understand when we start grappling with these questions, because, as I said, we're not really here necessarily to indulge. And to say that we're even here to satisfy our desires, that could be said. Finishing desires and satisfying them sound like the same thing, but they're really kind of, on some level, kind of opposite. Because if we feed our desire, like if we feed a new desire, let's say a new desire, then we're going to want to keep satisfying it. Like, let's say the desire for some new kind of food that tastes good. Well, now we might want that thing all the time, and then we can say, well, am I supposed to satisfy it? But all desires, external desires, are insatiable. They actually can't be satisfied. We can exhaust ourselves, and we can exhaust ourselves pursuing them and indulge so much that now we are kind of sick of it and say, okay, well, I finished that desire, and then we can move on to another one. But ultimately, how we're supposed to feel, or how we're supposed to approach our desires and the kama, or the desire to enjoy life, is to actually elevate it and sublimate the stimulation associated with it and elevate the sublime part of it. And I should have mentioned at the very beginning, these qualities of Taurus are related to Venus. Taurus, I usually start with that, but Taurus is the feminine, reflective, psychological, emotional quality of Venus. Venus is the source energy of Taurus. The signs are irrelevant without the planets that rule them. So Venus rules two signs, Libra, which is the external quality of Venus, where we initiate Venus energy through relationship, through interaction, and we initiate and start pleasure and enjoyment, often with others. Taurus is where we want to pull it toward us. and experience it and receive it. And this quality of receiving enjoyment, receiving pleasure, holding on to it, building a life, a solid life of enjoyment and beauty and pleasure is the Taurus principle. Most Taurus people that I know have some uneasy relationship with their desires and with pleasure. And the issue comes in, the quality of contentment becomes important. And as I said, contentment means that we can enjoy, and we can enjoy in the future, and we can even indulge once in a while. There's no repression, there's nothing to suppress. You can enjoy in the moment, and if you're connected to the moment, and if you're connected to the concept of fulfillment, you will never indulge. You will never, as they say, hanker after it, like long for it and lust after it. Because santosha, or contentment, in itself means you're content with what you have. With what you have, you can relax. And this is what Taurus teaches. And you can look at this, you know, the animal symbol is very important. In Taurus, it's one of the most important, because if you look at cows, you can see that cows, if you give them a big bowl of food, a field of grass and some water, they're fine. They are content. They are the picture of contentment. They will sit down, like if you give them a big bowl, big bale of hay or something that you like to eat, they'll just sit down and eat it and chew it, and that's it. They're fine. Get up, take a drink of water, sit back down. But if they don't have that, if they don't have the food and they're hungry, they're big, kind of dangerous animals, you know. People think cows are all calm and nice. They're calm and nice after they're fed, and then when you give them what they want, they're totally content with it. They're totally in the moment. They're totally present with whatever they have. If it's the thing they want, which again, the thing they want is something very simple, to just have their needs met in the moment. And this is what Taurus is about as well. It's about our needs in the moment, and the sensual needs especially. And the moment, which also includes the breath. Because Taurus rules the face and all of the sense organs in the face. The things we see, the things we smell, things we taste, and what we're eating on a deeper level, all the food that we eat that needs to be digested, but what we also eat on a deeper level, which is breath. And when we're content, we're present, and we're present with the breath. In and out, bringing deep contentment and peace. Deep contentment and peace with what we have right now in the moment. You're alive. There's whatever you have around you, you're blessed to have it. Instead of, but I want more, but I want more, but I want more. So wherever you are on this scale of contentment in relation to desire, the thing you're trying to achieve and accomplish and grow bigger, that's what the sun in Taurus brings out. So the sun in Taurus illuminates that area of life and says, what am I doing in this area? How content am I with the things I have? And how much do I appreciate the people that are related to them? And how much do I long for things that I don't have? And that sort of thing becomes a big issue when the sun is in Taurus. So that's a huge area of life where it implies our family and the trade-offs that we can make because we want to enjoy life, because we're trying to enjoy life. One of the things about Taurus, one of the deeper principles as well, is in the Taurus area of life, and people who have a lot of Taurus energy will often compromise and trade off intensity and a sort of dynamism, which is related to Scorpio and being restless and wanting to change, with stability. So Taurus people are great at at making do with what they have. Again, this is how Taurus really teaches that lesson. But sometimes they can make do with what they have, not because they're content with it, but because they're afraid of change. They resist change, resistance to change. Taurus has this resistance to change because they'd rather be comfortable and steady than anything else. And again, with Taurus people and the Taurus area of life is where we need to be careful that we're not trading off growth and transformation for steadiness and structure. And with the idea that, yeah, that's me, I'm Taurus, I'm happy with whatever I get, but I'm always complaining about what I have. Because again, this is a big thing with Taurus. Because they can just be happy with, okay, well, even though I have a terrible marriage where I'm not appreciated and I'm just kind of hanging on to things, all I need to do is eat a meal and I'm happy. Like, this is also the kind of thing that happens. Even though their whole life is kind of stuck in things that are not evolving because they're clinging to stability more than looking to change and transform, it's easy for Taurus people to have this idea that, yeah, that's me, I'm so content. Well, you're content with food or with something, but then you're not growing, you're not evolving. Because when that happens, then we also sort of collapse around these structures instead of elevate our relationship with things. So this is always a big thing. When the sun goes through Taurus, we examine this area of life and the trade-offs that we might make and the need to harmonize growth and transformation and intensity, which is Scorpio, the opposite sign, with stability, structure, and the capacity to really be present and appreciative and have contentment in the present moment, because we're so restless. We're always thinking of the next thing. Contentment in the midst of change. Big thing.